Good evening, parents. Welcome to Open House Night here at American Senior High School. I'm Mr. Herrera. I'm an American history and a world history teacher for your student. Today we're going to discuss a couple things regarding the course and what you can expect from me as a teacher for your student this school year. So first things first, I want to talk to you all about myself. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about who I am. I'll talk to you about the computers in my classroom. We'll discuss classroom rules. I'll give you some information about what to expect from this course. I'll provide you an idea of how much work students are completing in my class. And then in addition to all that, I'm going to provide you some information on how to contact me in case you ever need to reach me. So I'm going to tell you the same thing I told my students. I wasn't a very good student. Out of all my friends, I was the only one who graduated. And the only reason why I graduated was because of some good teachers and my Army recruiter. I graduated in the summer. I ended up joining the military, and I think that was the best thing for me. It changed my life. I traveled the world, and I had the opportunity to then go to college and do so for free. I studied at FIU. I'm currently working on my master's degree at the University of Florida, but now I'm paying for it, so it's a little slower. With that said, I wouldn't be where I am today without my family, my dogs, my wife, and my son, who was just born in December. He's about to be a year old, and he's changed my life so much. With that said, I stepped into the classroom for one good reason, and that's to try and give back. Those few teachers, I still know them by name, you know. So to me, I want to try and give back. I want to try and reach out. I want to be the teacher that grabs that one kid, that future Mr. Herrera, who barely makes it through high school. And I hope that by sitting here in this classroom today, by trying to provide for your students, that I can impact some of them. I know I'm not going to impact everybody, but I know that I can impact some, and that's my goal. Computers. They're vital. I can't say it in any other way. They're gonna need computers in order to succeed in my class. All assignments within my class are digital. All assignments they turn in are gonna be turned in through Schoology. This is in the case that if we do go back into quarantine, nothing changes in my class. Everything is gonna be the same. They can use computers, tablets. I'm in the process of trying to figure out how students can connect Chromebooks to the school Wi-Fi. I'm going to have that here soon, and then students will be able to use those as well. And in addition to all this, I provide a website that I've created my own. I pay for it myself, and it provides them additional resources in case they need it. I only have one rule. I tell this to all my students, and that's to respect, and more importantly, to respect themselves. Yes, I would like them to respect their peers. I would like them to respect me. But the reality is that if they don't respect themselves, they're not going to respect anybody. And if they do respect themselves, everything they do, they take with pride. They know their self-worth, and they know that nobody can take that away from them. Respecting their time is big in my class. I don't like students getting late to my class. They need to get to my class on time. With that said, part of their time in my class and their investment into their future is not being on their phones, being engaged in the classroom, not being engaged in their phones. If I see phones when I'm not permitting them to be out, I usually take them until the end of class, and then I give it back to them. When it comes to discipline, I try to always keep things between me and the student. That isn't to say that I don't want to involve parents. Rather, I treat my students like the young adults they basically are. That is to say, I want them to be able to problem solve these issues themselves. So I try to be very tolerant. I try to be very patient with students. When I feel that there comes a point where I can no longer be patient, I will talk to them usually after class, or I'll pull them outside of the classroom and I'll talk to them in a one-on-one setting. After I've talked to them and I give them some time to try and rectify things, if they still are having issues with it, at that moment I usually involve the parents. I'll give a parent a call home and explain to them what the situation is. By no means, and this isn't to say that I don't use it, but by no means do I enjoy detention or suspension. I was there, and I understand that the further you go into the suspension, the harder it is to get out of it. Because when you come back to the classroom, you're not engaged in the classroom. You don't know what was just discussed. and it makes it easier to go back. It makes it easier to go back into detention or go back into suspension, because if you don't know what they're discussing in class, you don't want to be engaged in the classroom. For that reason, I do not like using these reprimanding tools. But if I'm forced to, I will. Okay, by all means, I need to preserve the education for every other student in the classroom if one student is not being respectful of their time. For world history, world history is really an open sandbox. It's basically a place for students to come in and explore social studies, political, social, and other types of fields within one setting across different eras and ages. Right now, students are learning about the medieval era, and soon we're going to talk about Islam, the rise of Islam, and then we're going to talk about African civilizations and then how all three of those came together during the same time period. But students are going to learn about all different types of civilizations. They're going to learn about they're going to learn about all different types of historical events, and then they're going to tie it to the real world. I want students to be civically engaged in my class. I want them to be understanding of what's happening in the world around them. And the best way of doing that is to build that habit today. Usually, most lessons only take me 2 days to cover. Over the course of 2 days, I see your students about 4 to 5 times during that time period. It only takes me about 2 days to cover a particular lesson. The first lesson is usually an introductory. It covers about half of the time span, and I usually provide them vocabulary terms that they then need to define and get and study as best they can. The second day, usually I provide the final lesson on the given topic. They complete a vocabulary check where I test them to make sure that they do know each of the vocabulary terms. Usually I'll follow that with some classwork afterwards. They'll consolidate notes and prepare their cheat sheets for the end of the school year for that exam, that end of the course exam that they are going to have. And then afterwards, I'll quiz them, usually 10 to 20 questions, multiple choice. And it's me just trying to gauge how much they learned and what they missed, so that at the end of the school year, we know what to hit. During all of this, there's a current event that's every other week. Every other week on a Wednesday, they have a current event assignment where they need to go out, and all the instructions are provided on the current event assignment through Schoology. They go out, they find a topic, they read up on it, they write about it, and they turn that in every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, okay? Some information on how to contact me. I use Remind, I use email, I use school phone, I use Schoology. There's so many different ways of being able to contact me. I want to be as disposable as I possibly can. I have an entire Remind for all my parents. This code that you see up on the screen right now is for strictly only parents. If you want to join Remind and you want to be able to reach out to me, please feel free. The only thing I will tell you is that I don't take those messages after hours. If not, it would overwhelm my personal life. I do check it every day while I'm at school, though. Okay, if Remind is not an option for you, you can always send me an email, or you can send me a call during school hours, and I'd be more than happy to take your call and attend you as best as I can. Keep in mind, though, if I'm in the middle of a lesson, I will ask you to call back later. Okay. That's everything I have for you guys. I'm happy to see you all here. If you attended, whether it was virtual or whether it's here in physically in class, I'm happy to have you all. If you have any questions, I'll try to attend them